Before I dive in, I should let you know, dear reader, that I will be giving myself a report card on this column. It will be assessed for style, clarity and strength of argument categories that I myself have decided to include. It doesn't really matter what you think of this column, even though without you, the reader, this column has no real purpose. It only matters what I think of it, as both the author and subject of this wholly unnecessary assessment. Now, then, on Tuesday, the Trudeau government released its own self-focused, self-issued, self-completed report card. It comes in the form of an online mandate tracker, which chronicles and reports the government's progress on promises made in each of its cabinet ministers' mandate letters. Please note that this is not an assessment on the actual promises the Liberals made to Canadians. Were it so, there would be a lot more in the broken category, or, as the government hilariously calls it, promises that are not being pursued. Instead, this tool only tracks pledges the Liberals made after they were elected, when they no longer had to worry about winning Canadians' voting support. Yes, there are other, more thorough, independent, seemingly non-partisan online promise trackers such as this one, but why pay attention to those when you can peruse this state-produced self-assessment? Anyway, the government would like you to know its performance in almost every area is just stellar. Halfway through its mandate, it has only not pursued 3 promises: electoral reform, a pledge to provide a 12-month break on employment insurance premiums for companies that hire permanent young workers, and removing the GST on new capital investments in affordable rental housing. All other promises are in various stages of completeness, which the government describes as fully met, on track and underway, with challenges. Under the latter category are things like the government's promise to balance the budget by 2019-20, which most people would probably by now consider broken, not being pursued, except the government explains it away by citing the need for investments to kickstart the economy. Where is the broken, but with an excuse category? On the topic of more descriptive categories, ID suggests something new as well for the Liberals' promise to cut taxes for small businesses. Currently listed as underway, on track, a more accurate description would probably be underway, on track, but only because we bungled the messaging around our summertime tax reform package, and then it came out that our finance minister failed to disclose his company that owns his villa in France, and then it came out that he used a numbered company to maintain ownership of shares in his family company instead of putting those shares in a blind trust as Canadians were led to believe, so we had to recommit to lowering the small business tax rate even though we left it out of the budget. Granted, that is not a very snappy title for mandate tracker category. Among the government's completed promises is one of increased accountability in question period, which we should assume is an attempt at some very dry government humor considering the seamless way that robotic non-answers have transitioned from the Harper benches to those of Trudeau. The government claims it has ended the use of improper omnibus bills, though it's still sort of writing them.